Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, call the law Yahweh. Law Hashem Yahushua, Law Hashem Dash. Double honors go out to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Through the Holy Spirit, continue to teach us this truth, all right? And thereby imparting upon us the wisdom and knowledge that will be sorely needed in the days to come. Think Isaiah 33:6. That's what we're trying to get in our brain housing groups, all right? So, let's see. All right. So, here we go. How many of you have seen this already? It says Cyberattack shuts down biggest meat producer in world. All right. Cyberpandemic meets food supply. Again, what they're trying to do with the magic virus, all right, and causing panic. This is sought to imitate that, but using cyber means. What I mean by that is what's happening now. When we tell you that famine is coming, that's what we meant. This is a breakdown, all right, of the supply chain, and these days of food shortages are really, really close. See, people have been spoiled, especially here in good old USA, America, all right? They can eat when they want, how much they want. And of course, this being the fattest nation still, I think, all right? You know, that goes to pride, gluttony, and a whole host of other things, but let's just face it. And everybody around the world knows that the American people are just spoiled rotten. They're used to getting their way whenever they want. That air of exceptionalism, all right? But in any case, let's get some scriptures about this, because this devil is being revealed to the nation of Edom, the so-called white people. This is 2 Corinthians 2:11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. You see these things we tell you, and you filter them through the scriptures. Scriptures also say, watch as well as pray. All right? Therefore, these things won't sneak up on you as a thief in the night. Seems simple enough, but people still don't get it. Let's look at that word devices. All right?
Strong's G 3540, Naima.
Whoops.
Strong's G 3540, Naima.
Naima. What is that? Device, thought, a mental perception, an evil purpose. All right? This is what they have in store for the people. The elite, hey, come on. If you haven't caught on by now that this is being done by those well above your politicians' pay grades, all right, including your so-called presidents, you're going to be totally lost in the sauce, my friend. If you think they're the end all and be all in this. All right, let's see about some of the comments. Here we go. Scripted reality. Cyberattack just means they're flipping a switch on and off for critical infrastructure and entire industries whenever they want to cause chaos. I couldn't have said it better. This guy here, you should really pay attention to that he's talking about. And this is Joseph Esposito says, shouldn't Klaus Schwab, I advise you to read up on this guy, be petting a cat in his lap while talking destroying the world. He's making reference to James Bond character, the one that the late, what was his name? Played Jason, damn it. I'm sorry, not Jason, played the Halloween character Mike Myers, psychiatrist. What was his name? Crap. Hey, I got to do it since I brought it up. Let's see. I can't believe I forgot his name. All right. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Damn. Why didn't I see that? Here we go. Here he is. Donald Pleasance. Okay, yeah, he died in 95. Let's see. The character he played, James Bond. Well, let's go into it. Let's see. I didn't mean that. All right. Let's see. Film. Let's see. Circus of Horrors. Let's see. Come on now. That's not. Let's see. I cannot believe that should have been. Come on. I didn't mean to spend all this time on this thing. Let's see. 60. You Only Live Twice. Okay. Ernst Stavro. That's his name. That's his name. That's the character he played. Had the monocle. Damn it. Let's see. This is him here. Oh, that's him. I went through all that. I just couldn't remember it. Oh boy. But yeah, that's wow. That's who it's talking about here. We knew this was coming, and we know it's going to get worse. See, these are all Edomites. Jake is out there, what, partying and bullshit. Doesn't realize what's going on. All right. It says, what blows my mind is how normies can't see the agenda rolling out in front of their faces. See? Royal Tron. It says, when the sheep can't go to the store and buy their GMOs, the shit is going to hit the fan. Glad I grow food and have, he's talking about ammo. But see, that's where it separates us from them, because, you know, even that's not going to save you. You know, you've got to have faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, all right? It says, not even a month after the colonial gasoline pipeline, sounds like a self-implosive attack on infrastructure to me. When Schwab gives these speeches, he is giving his minions the go-ahead. He is directing them publicly because that's important. Greg Landry, these attacks will increase in frequency and duration. Don't believe who officials blame it on. Be prepared, especially mentally. What we're trying to tell our people. Mentally. In fact, let's go get that. This is Isaiah 33. I quoted it earlier. It says, Isaiah 33:6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Most High Yahweh is his treasure. There you go. All right. And that's where we're attempting to do, you know, from the apostles on down, get into these scriptures. All right. Pray for understanding. Get this in your head while the getting is good. All right. And David Blackman said, and now Santa Claus, as in Klaus Schwab, is planning that cyber polygon exercise in July. Nope, nothing weird to see here. And then you got 89 replies there. Of course, I'm not going to be able to go into them all. It says, from the way this sounds, it was clearly planned and engineered. You see, they have to press forward with this, and the sooner the better, because people are waking up and they're seeing, all right, through the bullshit. And these people aren't even in the truth. How much more some of you Israelites, all right, you can see clearly that that chip is going to be irrelevant, all right? It says, Rose Roberts, is this the precursor for the lab-grown meat a certain person wants? Francis Griffith. Makes me wonder if Bill Gates is behind this, considering he wants us to start buying his lab-made food. I just think these people, Klaus Schwab, are telling us what is about to happen because they are the ones behind it. Of course. Volvo 09 says, cybersecurity will be the next pandemic. Klaus Schwab. He quoted that. All right. Absinthe X1 says, what a coincidence that of all the potential targets out there, hackers decide to go from gas pipeline to beef producers. Nothing to see here, folks. All right, that's enough of that. So, hey, let's watch some of this footage. Cyberattack shuts down global meat processing.
The biggest meat company in the world, JBS, is currently shut down globally because of a cyber attack. Now, if you remember the Americold cyber attack, where the cold storage provider had their systems go down and everything just ground to a halt. They didn't know what was coming in on these trucks. They didn't know what was supposed to be going out on the other trucks. They didn't know what was in their huge cold storage freezer, what this pallet over there, everything just stopped until they were able to get those systems back up. This same scenario is now transpiring at JBS, except that there are animals involved, lots, right? They don't know where their cows are. They don't know where their animal feed is. They don't know where their truckers are supposed to be going to pick these things up or to bring them over for processing. And again, when live animals are involved, and as in general with our supply chain, everything is so fine-tuned, it's just a just-in-time supply chain, that there are dangerous situations that happen here. So for example, many of these feedlots have just enough feed to feed the animals until the very day that they go off for processing. But now that the whole engine has shut down, those animals are still there, and there's no food for them. So you can see how this can, even within a couple of days, very quickly cascades into a humanitarian crisis for the animals, and certainly into outsized disruptions of the global protein supply and the meat market. In fact, you can see right here, union reps are already saying there could be a protein deficiency globally if we're not able to get JBS back online and processing. Now, what's not mentioned is that JBS had already been stopping some of their facilities. In fact, we've talked about this. The drought in Brazil was destroying their safrana, their corn crop there, and feed costs were exploding. Now we've got $7 corn. We got these meat companies that are basically just feeding money into the cows, and then they're not even able to sell their meat anymore because people can't afford to pay that kind of price. It says domestic demand is dwindling. That's not, demand is still there. It's just that they're priced out of the market. People can't afford super expensive meat. So now they're starting to idle their operations. This is April 12th. Brazilian beef packers are halting production in selected locations. Well, that's not a very good story, right? If you're just going to stop making meat because we run out of animal feed, that doesn't really sound good. But what sounds better is if we just marry these two things. What better time than just to marry the World Economic Forum's Cyberpandemic and these cyber attacks on our critical infrastructure with the war on meat? So all of a sudden, this perfectly scripted cyber attack on JBS happens. Again, it wasn't just JBS and beef. You can see Reuters reporting that BRF, the world's largest poultry exporter, right? That means that's where the rest of the world gets their chicken, is from the biggest exporter of poultry in the world, that was considering slaughtering their chickens and stopping their pork and poultry plants. Why? Because of the record corn prices, because we can't get animal feed, or we can't afford to feed these animals. JBS was doing the same thing. So it is no surprise that they reach into their back pocket and pull out that perfect excuse, the cyber pandemic. They are, after all, a World Economic Forum partner company here from wefforum.org. JBS, the world's largest processors of animal protein. Well, that's pretty insightful, isn't it? That they're a partner with the World Economic Forum, who's openly advocating for the post-animal economy. Yeah, it's because JBS is in on it. They want to end animal agriculture. So does Tyson. Here's Tyson Foods stating their commitment to sustainable protein and to Davos, to the World Economic Forum. Yeah, they're in on this. So they know. So when we heard Klaus Schwab utter those words last year at the Cyber Polygon think tank exercise where they talked about how there's going to be a cyber pandemic, he said,
"We all know, but still pay insufficient attention."
Wait a minute. Hold on. What did I just... Hold on. For those of you that... Oh, boy. You gotta love this. Let's see. Dang it. Come on here. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, let's see. I was 62. Let's see. Here it is. Somehow I just thought it was earlier in the 60s, but come on now. Oh boy. Let's see. Hey, sometimes you gotta have fun with this. Oh, let's see. Here it is. Now you tell me. Uh-huh. What do you think? Just had to do that.
To the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack.
and as
Did you hear that? The last year and a couple of months, what we just went through will pale in comparison to what's coming here with this cyber attack mess.
Klaus Schwab uttered those words, and as the FireEye hacking toolkit was stolen, and as the SolarWinds hack meant that Fortune 500 companies and governments around the world were suddenly vulnerable to any of these things, suddenly that script was launched. This carte blanche for anyone to do anything they wanted to their pipeline.
That's a good choice of words there, script. All right, because that's what they're following.
Or to their meat packing facilities. Just shut it down. Turn it off for a while. let the gas prices rise, let the meat prices rise. They're just starving out consumers and getting them used to this new normal, increased gas prices, increased meat prices. Let's look a little bit about what JBS is saying. There will be, quote, severe economic impact on workers at the offline.
Real quick, let's get some more scriptures here. This is Psalms 64. And this is prayer for deliverance from secret enemies. It's King David. It's a chief musician, a psalm of David. Hear my voice, O Most High Yahweh, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even better words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Who's the perfect? That's the Israelites, all right? Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil manner. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. See, 5 is a problem. They encourage themselves in evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? Well, more and more people are becoming hip to the game. As I said earlier, so therefore they have to attempt to speed things up. And in doing so, whenever that happens, you tend to make mistakes. It says, verse 7, but the Most High Yahweh shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. And you've seen that in recent years, or I should say in the last few decades, because people that were at one time a part of this exclusive community have come out and say, hey, they suddenly got a grew a conscience or whatever, however you want to attribute it to what they did, but they spilled the beans. You know, hey, this is what's going on. This is what they plan to do at such and such a date. Yeah. So, hey, that's why we say get prepared. You know, for those of you Israelites that are like straddling the fence, hey, the window of opportunity for repentance is closing. All right. So you keep playing that, you know, teeter-totter on the fence game, you're going to come up short. Continuing with the video.
Production facilities, quote, it depends how long this goes on for and how long JBS stays offline. It's a supply chain that starts right at the farm gate, right through to the feedlots, all the way down to truck drivers. Everyone is severely impacted by a complete stoppage of the meat industry. And of course, this isn't the first blow to meat production. Argentina had already stopped exporting all of their grains and then even their beef to Brazil to try and keep domestic prices controlled. It was this, in fact, that prompted Brazilian meatpackers to say, well, if I can't get access to those grains from Argentina, then I can't afford to feed my animals. And that's where we started seeing those headlines initially about we're going to start slowing down the meat production. But now...
And even to a point where you have to understand, because, what was it, Bill Gates? Was it Bill Gates? And others, you remember a rancher from Texas last year, I can't remember exactly when, but I think this is when this magic virus thing first started. He came out and he said that they were told to cull their livestock, meaning kill them off. Now, what do you think once they can't get these grains, you know, to feed their animals, what's going to happen? He had mentioned this earlier. And what's that going to do? You know, one of the commenters earlier when I read it down here talking about, I skipped over it, but it was talking about Klaus Schwab. Let's see if I can get it. See if I can find it again. Let's see. Where was it? It was talking about Klaus Schwab. Here it is. Joe Tanto. Klaus Schwab says, you will eat the bugs and you will love the bugs. My attempt at a German accent. All right. Protein. So they want the best for themselves at the end of the day, and they're going to give us the bugs. All right.
Now they've just hit the panic button and launched into overdrive, blamed the cyber pandemic. It's just like blaming COVID. It's just this boogeyman. Global problems require global solutions, plus it buys us the ability to turn off the meat. We can just do whatever we want. Now at the same time, we've got these
Hegelian dialectic. Problem, reaction, solution.
fake meat companies also working hand in hand with the World Economic Forum. And in fact, they're going out and donating fake meat right now to food banks and food pantries.
And I thought it was me earlier on, like the last couple of years ago, I guess, and I noticed a lot of, maybe a little bit longer than that, but paying attention, but not really paying attention because that's never my thing. But I had noticed a lot of products, plant-based meat, that sort of thing. Like, what the hell? That makes sense.
And to other emergency sources. So when people who are losing their jobs in these lockdowns are going out to get help from the food banks, they don't come home with real meat anymore. They come home with fake trash from the Meatless Farm company and Impossible Burgers and stuff like that. Now, who are these companies that are just giving away fake meat, right? That doesn't seem like a very good business model to invent a new product and then just give it away, 20,000 vegan sausages. Well, if you look at this company, just as one example, this Meatless Farm company, well, they raised a new round, $31 million to fund post-lockdown growth. The gentleman who ran that round, let's read. The funding round was managed by recently appointed Meatless Farm director Leopoldo Zambelletti, who has, 20 years of investment banking experience at JP Morgan and Credit Suisse. Leopoldo, so this funding gives Meatless Farms the ability to take advantage of consumers' desire to build back better in the wake of COVID-19. He's right there. Virtue signaling. This is part of the Great Reset. This is part of weaning people off of meat. Now that they're just going to shut down the production and blame the cyber pandemic, and we'll give away our free meat over here. They're going to get this done by hook or by crook. You remember Wired magazine, fake meat is coming whether or not you like it. Now you see it. Now you see what they mean.
And I'm going to stop it right there for time's sake. I'll just post it. It's only like 3.5 minutes left. But let's get some more scriptures here. He made an excellent point there when I cut it off. All right. If you don't see this coming by now. This is second Ezra. Whoops. 16. All right. Start at 18. Fact 17, it says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? That's why I kept reading scriptures like Isaiah 33:6. All right, it says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. All right, it's not a coincidence these things have happened. All right, this place is wicked. It says, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be a good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. We know in America, and hey, I got to speak specifically for America, but even around the world, because of this magic virus, all right, people are being split more and more, all right, lines are being drawn, There's so much division. Not only that, but the issues. Other than that, all right, mainly race, because this devil is being exposed for the things that he's done in the past. All right. Specifically when it comes to Jake, the Israelites. All right. And people across the world are tired of America's shit. All right. Now, that's not without saying the elites. People are becoming more and more aware of them. As I stated earlier, all right, much of their power dependent on secrecy, which they don't have anymore. So they have to try to go ahead and get their agenda established, their New World Order. They don't have a choice because they know they have a short amount of time to do so. Continuing on, that's Revelation 12 and 12. It says, for many, verse 23, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. All right, and a lot of people have said that these cities are just going to become death traps, and that's true. Not that you out there in the rural place is going to be spared much. It's just yours is just going to be a little bit slower. All right, but there's going to be utter panic in these cities. They're going to be cut off. All right, you better start looking again at those movies like I Am Legend, The Road, dang it, the one with Denzel Washington, the post-apocalyptic movie. I don't know why I can't think of it now. But in any case, these things knocking at the door. All right, that door getting ready to get kicked in. If you understand what I'm saying, just that close. All right, so with that, I hope whoever views this is edified. Once again, this has been Cyberattack, shuts down biggest meat producer in the world, JBS. Cyberpandemic meats food supply. And again, these things have been planned out in advance. All right, like he spoke of or alluded to earlier, this is a script they're following. All right, this is them trying to bring about their new world order. All right, so hopefully whoever views this is edified. You know, once again, trying to let you know that time is growing short. All right, make up your mind, those that are on the fence. All right, and for those of you, pray for your brethren out there on the highways and byways all over the world. All right, and hey, shalom, shalom. All right, let's see.